My sister gave up her adopted daughter after having a son, but karma hit back immediately. Love is not supposed to have conditions, but for my sister Erin, it did. Without any guilt, she gave up her adopted daughter, Lily, as soon as she had a biological son. When I tried to understand how she could do such a thing, she simply shrugged and said, she wasn't really mine anyway. But karma had its own way of responding. There are moments in life that leave you shocked, unable to breathe. For me, it was when Erin casually revealed that she had given her 4-year-old adopted daughter back. Her words shattered me. We hadn't seen Erin in months. She lived a few states away, and since she was pregnant, we gave her space. When she gave birth to a baby boy, Noah, the whole family planned a visit to celebrate. Excited to meet the newborn, I filled my car with gifts, including a special teddy bear for Lily, my goddaughter. When we arrived at Erin's house, something felt different. The plastic slide that Lily loved was gone. The small sunflower garden we had planted together last summer was missing. These changes made me uneasy, but I brushed off the feeling and focused on the reason for our visit. Erin greeted us at the door, holding her newborn. With a bright smile, she introduced him to everyone. Our parents immediately fawned over the baby, and my dad started taking pictures. But as I looked around the house, I noticed something unsettling. There were no pictures of Lily on the walls, no toys scattered around, no signs of her presence anywhere. Confused, I asked, "Where's Lily?" Still holding her gift in my hands. The moment I spoke her name, Erin's expression changed. She exchanged a quick glance with her boyfriend, Sam, who suddenly seemed preoccupied with adjusting the thermostat. Then, without hesitation, she said, "Oh, I gave her back." At first, I thought I misheard her. My mom stopped rocking Noah, and my dad lowered his camera. The room fell silent, a heavy stillness settling over us. "What do you mean, gave her back?" I asked, my voice uncertain. Erin sighed as if explaining something obvious. "You know, I always wanted to be a boy mom. Now that I have Noah, why would I need a daughter? And don't forget, Lily was adopted. I don't need her anymore." Her words hit me like a punch. "You gave her back?" I asked, stunned. "She's not a toy you return to the store, Erin. She's a child." Erin rolled her eyes. "Relax, Angela. She wasn't really mine anyway. It's not like I gave up my own kid. She was just temporary." The word temporary stung. It made Lily sound like a placeholder, something to fill a void until the real thing came along. "Temporary?" I repeated, my voice shaking. "That little girl called you mommy for 2 years. Well, now she can call someone else that," Erin replied casually. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This was the same person who had once fought so hard for Lily, gone through endless paperwork, and cried tears of joy when the adoption was finalized. She had always said, "Blood doesn't make a family. Love does." "What changed?" I asked, struggling to understand. "Things are different now," Erin said dismissively. "Different how?" I pressed. "Because now you have a biological child? What kind of message does that send to Lily? You're making this into something it's not," she snapped. I loved Lily. I really did. But now that my biological son is here, I don't want to divide that love. He needs all my attention. I'm sure Lily will find another home. Something inside me broke at that moment. Erin had discarded Lily like she was nothing, as if the love she once had for her had never been real. And while Erin moved on without regret, I knew in my heart that karma was already on its way. Lily wasn't just Erin's daughter, she was mine too, in a way. As her godmother, I had held her when she cried, rocked her to sleep, and watched her grow. For years, I had dreamed of becoming a mother. But life had been cruel to me. I suffered miscarriage after miscarriage, each one breaking me a little more. The pain was unbearable, but Lily helped heal me. Her laughter filled the empty spaces in my heart. Her tiny hands reaching for mine and her little voice calling me Auntie Angie gave me hope. And yet, Erin had thrown her away like she meant nothing. How could she be so heartless? You held her in your arms, called her your daughter, and let her call you mom. Then the moment you had your real child, you tossed her aside? I asked, my voice shaking with anger. Erin sighed and bounced Noah in her arms as he began to fuss. She was a foster kid first. She knew this could happen. I felt my hands trembling. "Erin, she is 4 years old. You were her entire world." For the first time, Sam spoke up. "Look, we didn't make this decision lightly. Noah needs all our attention right now." I stared at them in disbelief. "And you think abandoning Lily was fair?" Sam avoided my eyes. "The agency found her a good placement. She'll be fine." Before I could say anything else, a loud knock at the door interrupted us. None of us expected what would happen next. Sam went to answer it. From where I stood, I could see 2 people on the porch, a man and a woman, both dressed professionally. The woman held up an ID. "Ms. Erin?" she asked. "I'm Vanessa, and this is my colleague, David. We're from Child Protective Services. We need to speak with you regarding some concerns that have come to our attention." Erin's face turned pale. "But why?" David stepped forward. "We have some questions about your adoption process and your ability to provide a stable home for your son." Erin clutched Noah tightly. "My son? What does he have to do with this?" The CPS workers entered the house and sat at the dining table. Vanessa spoke first. "We have reason to believe that you rushed through the adoption dissolution process and failed to provide proper counseling before giving up custody of your daughter, Lily." Erin looked around the room, hoping for someone to defend her, but none of us said a word. "This is ridiculous," she protested. "I followed all the legal steps." David opened a folder and flipped through some documents. "Your neighbor reported that you returned a legally adopted child just days after giving birth. without any transition plan. That raises concerns about your judgment as a parent. I suddenly remembered Erin's long-standing feud with her neighbor, Mrs. Thompson. She had always loved Lily and often watched over her. It wasn't surprising that she had reported Erin's actions. Erin's confidence started to crumble. Wait, you're not saying, ma'am, we need to ensure that your current child is in a safe environment. We will be conducting a full investigation. Erin's face twisted in panic. You can't take my baby. He's my son. I won't let you. She stopped mid-sentence, realizing what she had just admitted. David remained calm. We're not taking anyone right now, but we must follow procedures. Please cooperate with us. I turned to Vanessa. Where is Lily now? She glanced at me. And you are? I'm Angela, Erin's sister and Lily's godmother. I'm afraid I can't share that information at this time, Vanessa said politely. Sam remained silent, his face tense with regret. Erin, on the other hand, was panicking. She had abandoned Lily so easily, and now the system was questioning if she even deserved to keep her son. I knew I should have felt bad for her, but I didn't. Even after CPS began their investigation, I couldn't stop thinking about Lily. I needed to find her. I spent weeks making phone calls, searching adoption networks, and even hiring a lawyer. Meanwhile, CPS continued questioning Erin and Sam. Mom called me daily with updates. They interviewed everyone on their street, she told me one day. Erin is furious. Has she asked about Lily? Does she regret anything? I asked. No, she keeps saying she did what was best. Then, one morning, I finally got a lead. My lawyer called with news. I spoke with someone in the state foster system, she said. She hinted that Lily might still be in foster care. My heart pounded. She hasn't been adopted yet? It appears not, my lawyer replied. If you're serious about pursuing custody, we might have a chance. I didn't hesitate. I'm serious. I'll do whatever it takes. That night, I sat on my bed and pulled out the old photo album filled with memories of Lily. The first picture was of her as a chubby baby when I first met her, her tiny fingers wrapped around mine. Another showed her on her second birthday, cake smeared all over her face as she giggled with joy. Then there was Christmas last year, her wide eyes filled with wonder as she stared at the twinkling lights on the tree. Tears welled up in my eyes as I traced her smiling face with my fingers. I'm coming for you, Lilybug, I whispered softly. I promise. The next 3 months passed in a blur. It was a never-ending cycle of paperwork, background checks, home inspections, and interviews. I had sleepless nights worrying about whether I would be approved to adopt her, but through it all, I never lost hope. I prepared my home for her, turning the spare bedroom into a space she would love. I painted the walls pink, the exact shade she had once said was her favorite. I decorated it with butterfly decals, knowing how much she adored them. I filled the shelves with her favorite stuffed animals, dolls, and books. My parents, after their initial shock at what Erin had done, threw themselves into helping me. Dad built a bookshelf shaped like a castle, just as Lily had always dreamed of. Mom spent weeks knitting a soft blanket, carefully embroidering Lily's name in the corner. Everyone who loved her wanted her to feel safe and welcome. In early May, I received the news I had been waiting for. I was approved for a supervised visit. It was the first step toward bringing her home. The Family Connections Center was a bright, welcoming place, with murals of smiling cartoon animals painted on the walls. I sat in the waiting area, gripping a small, stuffed elephant I had brought for her. My heart pounded with anticipation and nervousness. What if she didn't remember me? What if she was angry? A kind-looking woman walked in and smiled warmly. Ms. Angela? She asked. I'm Grace, Lily's caseworker. We're ready for you now. I followed her down the hall to a small playroom. The moment I stepped inside, my breath caught in my throat. Lily was sitting at a tiny table, crayons scattered in front of her. She looked so small, much smaller than I remembered. Her once bright and carefree expression was now guarded, her eyes filled with caution. No 4-year-old should ever have to look that way. I swallowed the lump in my throat and took a shaky step forward. Lily? I whispered. She looked up, her little face hesitant, as if she was unsure whether to believe what she was seeing. For a few seconds, she just stared at me. Then, suddenly, recognition flickered across her face, and her eyes lit up. Auntie Angie, she said, her voice filled with disbelief and hope. Tears spilled down my cheeks as I dropped to my knees and opened my arms. For a moment, she hesitated, as if she wasn't sure whether it was real. Then, without warning, she ran straight into my arms, wrapping her little arms tightly around me. I missed you, Lilybug, I choked out, holding her close. I missed you so much. She pulled back slightly, her small hands cupping my face. Her big, innocent eyes searched mine. Where did you go? I waited and waited. Mommy left me. She said she would come back, but she never did. Why did she leave me, Auntie? Her words shattered me. I could feel my heart breaking all over again. How could Erin have done this to her? I took a deep breath, trying to keep my voice steady. Oh, sweetheart, I am so sorry. I didn't know where you were, but I looked everywhere for you. I promise I did. She nodded slowly, as if processing my words. I live with Miss Karen now. She's nice, she said. But she doesn't know how to make pancakes like you do. I let out a watery laugh, brushing her hair back from her face. Well, if it's okay with you, I'd like to do more than visit. I've been talking to some people about you coming to live with me. Would you like that? Lily's eyes widened with excitement. In your house? With the big windows? That's right, I said, smiling. And I've made a special room just for you. Pink? Walls, butterflies, and everything? Her excitement wavered for a moment, and she hesitated before asking, and Mommy and the baby, will they be there too? It was the question I had been dreading. I took a deep breath, choosing my words carefully. No, sweetheart, not Mommy or the baby, but you'll have me, And Grandma too. It'll be just the three of us. Her little face scrunched up in confusion. Is Mommy still mad at me? The question knocked the air out of my lungs. Mad at you? Oh, sweetheart, why would you think that? She looked down at her hands. I must have been bad, she whispered. That's why she didn't want me anymore. I felt an ache so deep in my chest that I thought it might crush me. I gently lifted her chin so she could see my face. Lily, listen to me, I said softly but firmly. You did nothing wrong. Nothing. Sometimes grown-ups make big mistakes. And what happened? It wasn't your fault. She searched my eyes, looking for the truth in my words. Promise? I nodded, my voice thick with emotion. I promise. And I'll make you another promise too. If you come live with me, I will never, ever leave you. No matter what. She looked at me, her small face filled with hope, but still unsure. Never, ever? She whispered. Never, ever, ever, I said with a smile. That's what family means. Real. Family. 3 months later, after countless meetings, court hearings, and waiting, Lily finally came home, and I did what Erin never could. I fought for her. I went through every step of the adoption process, determined to prove that I could be the parent Lily deserved. There were home studies, background checks, parenting classes, and endless interviews. Every form I filled out, every question I answered was just another way of showing that I would never abandon Lily, that she would always have a home with me. It wasn't easy. Some nights I lay awake worrying. What if the system failed her again? What if someone decided she would be better off somewhere else? But I refused to let fear win. I had made a promise to Lily, and I intended to keep it. Finally, after months of waiting and proving myself over and over again, the day arrived. The final adoption papers were ready to be signed. My husband Alex was by my side, his steady presence giving me strength. My parents were there too, holding on to each other, their eyes shining with pride. When I signed my name at the bottom of the document, my hands trembled. It was real. She was mine, officially, legally, and most importantly, forever. Mom reached over and squeezed my hand. We're so proud of you, she said, her voice thick with emotion. Alex wrapped an arm around my shoulders and pressed a kiss to my temple. We did it, he murmured. The judge smiled warmly. Congratulations. You are now, legally and officially, a family. Before I could react, Lily threw her arms around my neck, squeezing me tightly. Her small voice rang with excitement. We did it, Mommy. Mommy. That one word filled every empty space in my heart, healing wounds I had carried for years. I had dreamed of hearing it for so long, and now it was real. I held her close, closing my eyes as tears spilled down my cheeks. Our life together wasn't perfect. Lily had been through so much in her short life, and the effects of that didn't just disappear overnight. She had nightmares. Sometimes she hoarded food, stuffing snacks into her pockets and hiding them under her pillow, afraid they would be taken away. Other times, she asked questions that made my heart ache. Questions about Erin, about why her first family had left her, about whether she had done something wrong. There were moments when I struggled to find the right words, when I wished I could take away every painful memory she carried. But we worked through it together, with patience, love, and the help of a kind therapist. More than anything, I made sure she knew that she was safe now, that she was loved, that she would never be unwanted again. And Erin? CPS eventually closed their investigation without removing Noah from her care, but she was required to take parenting classes and undergo regular check-ins. She never reached out to ask about Lily, never tried to see her or even send a message. I had once thought that would break my heart, but now I realized Lily deserved better, and I was going to make sure she had better. Years passed, and Lily grew into a bright, joyful little girl. Last week, she turned 6. Our backyard was filled with the sound of children laughing. Lily was in the middle of it all, wearing a butterfly crown she had made herself, her face glowing with happiness. Alex knelt beside her and her kindergarten friends, helping them build tiny fairy houses out of sticks and leaves. My dad stood nearby, handing out little twigs with a grin, while my mom was inside the kitchen, carefully placing candles on a castle-shaped birthday cake. I stood by the window holding a picture frame in my hands. Inside was Lily's most recent school photo, right next to a crayon drawing she had made for me the very first day I visited her at the foster center. In the drawing, there were 3 figures, 2 tall, 1 small. Back then, the lines had been shaky, the colors uncertain, but now those same 3 figures were surrounded by bright butterflies and hearts, drawn with confidence and joy. She was home, where she always should have been. Sometimes the happiest endings come from the most painful beginnings. Sometimes the family you fight for is more precious than the one you are born into. And sometimes the universe has a way of putting things right, by bringing people exactly where they are meant to be.